Hi, Julie Jones from SSB Performance, Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training, here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week. And this week we're talking about positive thinking. Is positive thinking the answer? Or what's the truth about positive thinking? Last week we talked about our feelings. Well, we really didn't talk about our feelings. We talked about the fact that we need to acknowledge our feelings. Why? Because sometimes we're not positive. And acknowledging them gives us an opportunity to dispute them and to keep them in check, understanding that feelings are not facts. We also talked about the fact that things irritate us. We get frustrated, we're disappointed, we make mistakes. We're not going to be happy or even positive during that time, so we've got to figure out how we can be productive. On the flip side of that coin, we know that positive emotion is one of the biggest predictors of peak performance. So how do we balance all this? Well, it's important for us to think about how we treat positive thinking, or how we use it in our performance. Research shows that thinking about a goal with too much positivity, as if it's already going to happen, we know it's going to happen, we feel good about it, it's going to happen. Or pretending like it's already happened and feeling like, oh yeah, we're there. Well, that may actually hold us back. The problem with that is we don't take time to think about what could stumble us on that road. So, research shows that mental contrasting, looking at things, figuring out what we want, and feeling good about it, and then figuring out what could hold us back, what are the obstacles that we might run into, can really help motivate us to get there. That obstacle provides us some motivation. It helps us stay on track when we get tied up a little bit. So, there's this thing called WHOOP, and it sounds goofy. Whoop, whoop, right? WOOP, acronym. It's a great tool for us to use when we're thinking about goals, when we're thinking about what we want, when we want to get somewhere and actually make it there. The W is wish. What do we wish for? What do we want? We talked about how important it is to tell ourselves what we want. We're constantly telling ourselves what we don't want. We never go into a restaurant and say, I don't want, and expect to get a meal that we do want. But we tell ourselves those things all the time. So what's our wish? Write it down. What do we wish for? What do we want to happen? What's our desired goal? The first O is the outcome. What is it going to feel like when we get there? Well, how am I going to look? How are other people around me going to be acting? What's it going to feel like? What am I going to be doing? What's my mindset going to be? What are my tasks actually going to be? What's going to be like? This is where our visualization comes in. We think about that. We picture ourselves. It's like picturing that affirmation that we're already there. So we're picturing that we're already there. So we stay tied to it, but we can't just stop there. That's the problem. If we stop there, our motivation ceases when we run into an obstacle. I want to be a starter. Well, I'm not in the lineup at the first game. So now what? Now I get mad. Now I get off track. Now I hesitate to do the things that I was going to do. I stop taking the extra cuts. I stop taking the extra shots because now I don't know what to do. My goal didn't come true. Now what? This is where the mental contrasting comes in. Looking at the positive, throwing in reality. What's reality? What could happen? What could happen inside of me? What are the internal obstacles that I have? This is the hard part. How do I really measure up to this goal? What's in me? What's my procrastination? What are my doubts? What are my fears? We need to look at those. That's the hard part. We set these goals. Are we really committed to doing the true work it takes to get there? That's the question. What's the benefit? What do I have to give up to get there? What do I have to change inside of me? What thought or action do I need to deal with? It's hard. Then what could happen externally? So we need to look at internal factors that can hold us back and external factors that can hold us back. We need to start looking at the internal factors first because those are the things that we can control. What are my behaviors? What are my thoughts? What are my fears? What are my doubts? And then how do I get a handle on them so that when I run into that, because it's going to happen, I'm going to have imposter syndrome. I'm going to feel like I'm not good enough. What am I going to do to deal with it? That's the P. Wish. What do I want? Outcome. How am I going to feel when I get there? It's going to be great. Awesome. But we got to move another step. What's the obstacle? What could hold me back? Internally and externally. What can I control? What can I control? And then my plan. What's my plan? If I procrastinate, I will. If I have self-doubt, I will. Go back to my evidence journal, whatever it might be. do my visualization, look at my highlight reel. Whatever the tools are that we have, those can fit into the plan. If I'm not in the starting lineup on the first day, I will. We're taking control. We're learning how to get back on the horse when we fall off of it. If we just do the wish and we just think about the outcome, we don't have a very good plan for the bad stuff that could come. And that is reality. Scott Peck in The Road Less Traveled, first thing of his book, says, life is hard. And then I'll paraphrase a little bit. He says, as soon as we understand that, we can transcend it. That means we can overcome hard life when we realize that there are things out there that are hard. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. And we know that. Sports are hard. Pressure is hard. School is hard. Competition is hard. Social pressure is hard. There are so many things out there that are obstacles that we need to plan for and say, here's where I'm going. These are the bumps that I have to get over, or the walls that I have to transcend or go around. And I can do it because if this happens, I will. So WOOP, W-O-O-P, wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. Doing your team goals, do a little WOOP. I included in this week's tip, if you go to my website, ssbperformance.blog, you can get a WOOP kit, and it's got a worksheet in there that you can have your team or individuals or anybody that you work with do. I think it's a great tool for all kinds of things to help us get where we want to go. If you want to talk about other things like this or have questions about WOOP or other tools that can help WOOP be more effective, shoot me an email at juliej@ssbperformance.com or give me a call. I'd love to chat with you and your team. Until next week, WOOP it up and have a great week.